Hi there, I'm Toni Julian, and I'm here today to share with you how to sanitize your kitchen like a food boss. All right, so I am a healthy lifestyle expert, nutrition and fitness coach, as well as a former figure competitor. I've written a couple of books about nutrition and fitness, and I also have a healthy food business. So what that means is that we are held to the same standards as a lot of big companies are in terms of sanitizing. And one of the things that I am realizing as we're going through this whole coronavirus situation is that we're up against a very invisible enemy. And the same practices that we use in our commercial kitchen, I'm beginning to use at home, and I want to just share it with all of you because I have a feeling that sooner rather than later we're going to be running out of the conveniences, the Clorox wipes, things that paper towels, things that just we have maybe in a little bit of abundance right now, but are becoming in short supply. So I just want to make sure that the things that we do at home are as clean and as to the same standards as we are at the commercial kitchen. So some people may think that's overkill. I do not at all. We are, I think as of today, this is April 2nd, we have not even seen the peak of what we're going to be faced with. So some people may think this is overkill. I hope you do not. I certainly do not. There are practices in place. We have what's called a PFR, which is a processed food registration in the state of California, and in Silicon Valley, where we are right now, we are in one of the populated hotbeds of this virus. So I don't think any of us can be too careful. We do not have this under control yet. All right, so I'm going to share with you some things as far as sanitizing your kitchen, sanitizing your counters, sanitizing your dishes, and just some things to think about as you move through your day to be able to keep things in your home at a minimum, and when you're bringing things in from outdoors, how to treat them. So as I mentioned with the PFR, we go through certain practices. Before we start our food production, we sanitize everything in the commercial kitchen. So that means the counters, the handles, the doorknobs, the light switches, everything. Now, one thing that we do is we also do dishes, right? So I'm going to talk to you first about how to do the dishes, how to sanitize those, and then we'll go into other surfaces. So all you really need is some chlorine bleach, and it could be anything, any brand, as long as it's chlorinated. This is a big bad boy, nice and full. I'm so lucky I've got plenty here. Wish I could share it with you if you're low. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill up your sink. So this is based on, in commercial kitchens, a 3-compartment sink, which is how all commercial kitchens, all restaurants sanitize. And the size of the sink that we need is based on the piece of largest equipment. So whatever we use, we need to be able to submerge it so that it is sanitized. The first sink is always the soap and hot water, soapy hot water. That's for cleaning. The middle sink is for rinsing, so that is also filled with water, clean fresh water. And the third sink is the sanitizing station, or the sanitizing department. So what we do there is, the formula is you want to use 1.5 teaspoons of your Clorox or whatever chlorine bleach to 1 gallon of hot water. Now, what I do at home though is I'll do about 2 gallons of hot water and 3 teaspoons of chlorine bleach. And that is the right amount of chlorine. You don't want too much where it's a lot of chemicals and you're wasting it. There's this point of diminishing returns around that. You also don't want that on your dishes, right? A lot of chemicals. And then if you don't have enough, it's not going to kill those viruses and bacteria that we want to kill. So, so fill up your sink. So, I don't have a 3-compartment sink at home either. All right, I've got 2 compartments. Some of you may just have 1 compartment. So the best thing to do is hot soapy water on all those hand washables, and then rinse it in the same compartment. If you need to, drain it if you only have 1 sink. If you have a second compartment, go ahead and fill that up with your chlorine water. So it would be maybe a couple of gallons to 3 teaspoons of your chlorine. And that should be warm to hot water. It doesn't have to be scalding water, but just at least warm to hot water. So once you rinse, you're going to immerse it for about 60 seconds. And that way you're sure that it kills all the germs. The very next step is drying. Now, some people make the mistake of using a towel, a towel that they've had around their kitchen, a towel that they've used for drying their hands as they've gone about their day. But I like to use, instead of towels, because they can harbor bacteria and viruses and germs, I like using a drying rack. And I actually don't have one, so what I use is this rack that we use for my muffins, for cooling them. So as long as your items are set off the counter, you can see these little divots here, set off the counter, not directly on the counter, so there's some airflow and it has a chance to dry. Just make sure this is clean too, right? You don't want something like I am, putting my hands all over it and then you put your dishes on it. So just think about cross-contamination. Think about, like in my food business, that we have to completely clean, sanitize everything, not just for germs, but for people who have allergens. So if someone has an allergy to walnuts, I want to make sure that we have cleaned everything very, very thoroughly, and even sometimes use dedicated equipment to make sure there's no cross-contamination. So just think about these, these invisible little germs that you can't see. Maybe they're there, maybe they're not, but we don't really want to take any chances, do we? So anyway, just dry here, right? So after this, some people have a tendency to want to actually dry their dishes with towels. The best thing to do is just let it air dry. You can dry with a towel. We will do that in our commercial kitchen if we really have to, like if we're turning over some measuring items and we need to dry it rather than sit and let it wait. Like ideally just sit and let it wait. But if you do need to dry with a towel, I love these little microfiber towels. I think I got them at Costco. You get like, I don't know, 50 in a pack or something ridiculous. I thought it was way too many, but you wouldn't believe how many we go through. And the nice thing, it's saving our trees. You just throw them in the washer as soon as you're done. And yeah, so those work really, really well. All right, next step, that's dishes. Next step is how to sanitize your counters. When you have your water full in your sink, in your compartment, and it is the correct density of chlorine to water, the right proportions, then what you can do is just get an empty bottle. So I had this spray bottle, I emptied, I washed it out, and I just immersed it and just let it fill up with that same water. So this is exactly the right solution that you can spray your counters down with. And I use a clean towel after I spray it so I can clean everything. And that works really, really well, because I think eventually, we might be running out of, the wipes, the convenience things that we have. Using a sponge is not enough. A sponge harbors so much bacteria, and so you can either replace your sponge frequently or throw it in the washing machine, as well as any scrub brushes that you have to keep that clean. Now, one thing I know is that when I'm in the kitchen and I get distracted and my phone's there, that is one place that really harbors some germs. So if you are food preparing for your family, if you are doing anything in the kitchen where you do not want to cross-contaminate, say you've brought groceries in and you've wiped them down and you've put them away, that's great. You've thrown away the plastic, you've washed your hands, now they're nice and clean, you don't want to handle the food. Best thing to do is not touch your phone. One thing that we do in my commercial kitchen is I will put my phone in a little plastic Ziploc baggie. And this way I am reminded not to touch my phone if I get a text. But if my hands are clean, I can always just touch my phone and see if there's an urgent call that's come through from a family member or from a friend. So those are the things I wanted to share with you, as well as just making sure, like when you come in from outside, you do wash your hands. Best way to wash your hands is in soap and water, and lather them up, hot water, hot soapy water. And just think about washing not just your hands. We've all seen Restaurant Impossible where the restaurant owner will be like, and they're saying like, okay, done. And then, Robert Irvine climbs all over them. You're gonna kill people. Guess what? That could probably be true now. So we wanna wash our hands and wash up to the elbows, all right? And then wash between your fingers, wash the back of your hands, your wrists, and if you have a little scrub brush, get under your fingernails, because that is another place where those little invisible germs can harbor, all right? So then we want to rinse. I've heard 20 seconds, I've heard 30 seconds. whichever it is. Just give it a good long rinse, all right? And then think like a surgeon. Do not pick up a dirty rag and dry your hands on it, okay? So those are just some of the things. Also, I'm trying to think about what else just in my day that I do. I will typically go around maybe once a day and just wipe the counters, actually a few times. I'll wipe the handles of the drawers in our kitchen. I'll wipe the front doorknob as another place. We have a little key, keyless entry on our front door, so that's another place. I think about our car door handles. I wipe those down. And I do use gloves sometimes. We do use gloves in our commercial kitchen. And in that case, when I use gloves, you have to take them off a certain way if you have them. And if you've handled things, is you take them off like this, right? And inside out, and then you use the other one to take the other one off. You don't want to touch anything around it and put it directly into the garbage. All right, so not all of us have gloves. I know they're at a shortage. I know masks are at a shortage right now. Anyway, please just, think about the things that you do in your day. If you go to the store and you use your credit card, think that your credit card is contaminated, your wallet's contaminated, all right, and things like that. You use the front doorknob to get into the house. Maybe you've handled your keys. Maybe you've handled your sunglasses. Just think about all these things. Get out your handy decontaminating, sanitizing, and clean your house like a boss. All right, this is our time to really pitch in and step it up. It is not overdoing it. All right, so my friends, I love you. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps. I hope it gives you some food for thought. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe. All right, blessings and hugs and kisses from me to you. See you later.